Feel the word, love the word, live the word, vibrate the word, shake the word, hum the word, breathe the word, whisper the word, sign the word, love the word, sing it now, sing the word, chant the word.
here. I am guided, I am protected, 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 I am guided, I am protected. When the light of hope it fades, when all faith is blown away, when all sense of trust goes down, when a smile turns into frown, when it feels there's no relief, nothing in which to believe, desperate in woe and grief, angels come reminding me, I am guided, I am protected, 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 I am guided, I am protected. Angels gather close to me, show me what I cannot see. Angels take me by the hand, lift me when I cannot stand. Angels lead me through the dark, soothe and tend a broken heart, laughing at the circumstance, crying while we sing and dance. I am guided, I am protected, 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 I am guided, I am protected. I think it really is true. I am guided and I am protected. Otherwise I just wouldn't be here. So I hope you guys are too. Hello, Necessary Truth. Thank you, very kind. And LT is actually out and about on one of her adventures, including a grocery store, I believe. And a little Bubba is actually over on the other side of the studio over there. Yay. I'm glad you got the notification. Well, thank you, Necessary. Let's put that out there. I might be able to do a little mini reading. Why not? I wasn't expecting to, but you never know. So here we are. This is it. It's been building up for the last few weeks. And now we're here. This is the eclipse. This is my spectacular astro doodle for the eclipse. There we go. I mean, it actually ranges, you know, from a couple of days over here to a couple of days over here. And you could feel it building up for at least 2 weeks to get to this point where we are today. And it's the same story I've been telling over and over and over again. It's about the global financial crisis and the massive tectonic shifts that are happening all across Earth as predicted. I saw some very, let's say, affirming messages today from some of my really premium news sources that were indicating how what we are seeing today right now can be traced back to, ta-da, global restructuring, January 2020.
that's when the, let's say, bio bomb was dropped. And the shock waves have been rippling around and vibrating and sending, let's say, huge tectonic shifts all across Earth for the last 3 years. And what's probably most disturbing about all of this is that it's all planned. And it's all trackable, it's all predictable. And it's just an amazing time in human history that we are alive at this moment in human history to witness this mind-boggling experience. Of course, you know, if you've watched the channel, I'm constantly referencing Pluto over here. Pluto is right on the cusp. There's Aquarius, there's Capricorn. And over here for the next few months, pretty much to the end of the year, and into early next year, we are going to see the elites who run and operate and manage and own what appears to be planet Earth, or what they consider their own personal, let's say, I don't know, it's like their own private playground. And we the people are just little things to play with and exploit and harvest. They are in deep, deep trouble. Pluto, Capricorn, 29 degrees. Deep, deep trouble. All their Capricorn, unhealthy expressions of Capricorn energy about the obsessions with power and money and control have become fully exposed on the global stage. At least in my world, the people with whom I connect and the sources where I go, it's very obvious that the tectonic shifts are going on actively right now. The whole world is rattling, and we're just seeing these epic, irreversible changes that are happening in global politics, finance, and economics, and culture, behavior. In a way, it's, in the most simple terms, it's like, you know, rats in a cage. Here we are, this is our home, and there's now 8 billion of us, and every speck of earth that is controllable and ownable and, let's say, can be manipulated and exploited by human people has been exploited by human people, and it's going to continue to be going that way for quite some time to come. And it's just in the last couple of centuries that this phenomenon didn't exist, because just a few centuries ago, all of this that we see here was being explored and discovered and charted out by, you know, maritime pioneers. Mostly from here, going here to here to here to here, and so on. And these folks from here going all over here, and so on. So it's just, you know, human people evolving. But we've reached a point of what I consider critical mass, because there's nowhere else for us to go. And there's so many people squashed over here and over here that there's this energy of extreme desperation, and they're starting to act out. It's the same over here. And there are signs that the environment has reached a tipping point where, just like a litter box, like Bubba and the litter box. Little Bubba, I have to do his litter box every day because he pees and poops every day, along with his friends Bonnie and Boo Boo. And if you don't take care of those things and manage like the inflow and the outflow, then things get really bad really quickly. And that's what's happening. Planet Earth and the human people who live on here are starting to swim in their own poop and pee. And I say that in very direct terms, but I also, it's the same phenomenon as you go from the most elemental, crude language that I'm using now, but it's all the way up to the very highest levels of politics and economics around the world. and people are shoving each other around because they can't take the pressure. There's just too much pressure. I want this. I want that. Well, you've got what I want. Well, you've got what I want. You're not doing what I want. You're not doing what I want. Boff, biff, baff. And just human people are just coming unglued all over planet Earth with just being violent in our home. Mars in Cancer. The foundation, the place where we live, is called planet Earth. This is our home. Mars in Cancer is very unhappy. Mars does not like being in the sign of Cancer. It indicates conflict in the home, aggression, violence in the home. It's just not comfortable. Mars rules Aries, and there's a natural square between Aries and Cancer. And so the way I see it, human people are acting out with violence all over the world, just like exploding expressions of violence. Again, it's all so predictable, you know. I just made a few notes here. Actually, let me just check in with you just to say hello. Hello. It's Friday night over here in sunny Las Vegas. The temperature dropped about 20 degrees. Thank heavens. So I am coping okay. I can't really take the heat here. It's very crippling for me, but I'm enjoying the coolness right now. Well, it's not actually cool. It's pretty warm, but compared to a few days ago, it's really, really nice. Anyway, we're having what's called an eclipse. There's the moon in a few degrees, you know, a few days leading up to it, a few days coming out of it. The pressure point was today at about 14 degrees when the moon was directly opposite the sun. I wasn't able to see an eclipse because it was daytime, but somebody probably somewhere on the earth was able to take an eclipse. I haven't seen any photographs or any news about it anywhere. So maybe, I don't know, maybe no one's paying attention. I was just feeling and observing. I wasn't really too concerned about watching the event in the heavens at nighttime. But anyway, it did happen. Somewhere on Earth, somebody must have seen that eclipse. Anyway, let me go back to the charts. Hello, good evening, by the way. Yeah. Thank you for visiting and hanging out. Let's go back over here for a moment. So, there's that I just mentioned. Pisces is really activated right now in what I consider a very broad spectrum. We've talked about this before. It's very much to do with all the corruption and tragedy and very, very unhealthy expressions of Neptune, 12th house Pisces type energy. Lies, betrayal, deception, theft, delusion, illusion, addiction, hopelessness, depravity, perversion, complete utter rot and decay and disintegration of anything and everything good into basically what I would call, I guess you could call it, sewage. And it's just spilling all over planet Earth like a massive sewage spill. And we are witnessing it. You might not be witnessing. I don't know your perceptions of life in the world and everything. Some people are probably having a wonderful time. I know I've been overhearing conversations about how some people, and I can tell that there's a lot of people who are completely oblivious to anything that we talk about here. They're mostly just concerned about like, oh gosh, are we going to order pepperoni tonight, or are we going to do sausage and mushrooms? And that's the extent of the concern. They might have noticed, gasoline, well, we're so used to it now. Gasoline is just very expensive and food's getting more expensive. Oh, look, another explosion at a food plant. Oh, look, there's another war. There's another mass shooting, and so on and so on. And people just become numb to all of it. And it's just like, oh, well, that's just life. Yeah, I heard about that, but I was much more interested in something, let's say, less concerning. I learned today a few things. Apparently over here in Argentina, apparently this came into from Love Triber earlier today, millions of chickens and eggs were thrown into a massive landfill. Why? It's according to, the global elites who are trying to get everybody to eat bugs. The only way they can get people to eat bugs is destroy normal food. So that's what the elites are doing. Same thing over here in the Netherlands. There's billions and billions of dollars being pumped in to the Netherlands farming industry to try and destroy it and shut it down, pay them off, get them off the land, so they can reduce the number of cow farts that are polluting the sky. And so on and so on. I've got to list a couple of things that randomly I just noted down before coming live here. I don't normally do a show on Friday night, but I just had to mention it because it is the eclipse. On the 11th of May, which is just a few days from now, the COVID number 19 bug emergency 911 will be officially over. All the bugs will be going home to wherever they live, and it will officially be over because Tedros, the fellow who is the boss over there at the WHO thingamy, he said it's over. Who knew? Apparently the bugs didn't know. The bugs were informed by Tedros himself. The next thing we noticed, which I thought was almost comical, was that the Kremlin over here in Moscow, which is where Vladimir Putin hangs out, that's his office, it's a massive palace, it got bombed by a drone with a bunch of C4 explosives on it. He wasn't there, nothing happened, and I saw the video. And I kept looking at this video. I watched it multiple times, and I kept thinking, this whole thing is fake, it's staged. It's a real bomb, but the drone is too small to have traveled all the way from Ukraine to Moscow. There's no way that little drone could have made it. So my feeling is that it was a false flag story where it's made to look like, oh my God, somebody's trying to assassinate Vladimir Putin. That means Russia has to go to war. It's getting so bad. The Russian people need to understand it's so bad that we have to continue the war against the Ukrainian folks. It's just more warmongering. That's my personal opinion. More balloons were spotted from China hanging out over Hawaii. There you go. There's a new, let's say, a military recruiting campaign going on in the United States. And the star of the campaign is a transgender guy who likes to dress up as a girl. And the Navy, I think, is it the Navy or the Army? I think it's the Navy. They're using him sort of like what happened with that Bud Light beer commercial where Dylan Mulvaney was put on the front page of Bud Light, hopefully to sell beer to trans people or something. And that backfired very badly against Budweiser. And so this ridiculous recruitment video, which apparently is supposed to attract people to join the military, is being... it's just embarrassing to watch. It's just truly bizarre, embarrassing to watch. Now, over in Europe, you might have heard that Hungary and Poland and Serbia are very, very strongly conservative, traditional faith, family, honesty, truth, freedom of speech and all that, and add in Italy as well. So you got 4 nations over there that are very, very strongly conservative, and they're building a strong movement across Eastern Europe, and it's starting to spread into Western Europe. That's causing a real problem for the elites who want to take over the world. Anyway, of course, it can't be allowed to happen. So in little old Serbia, which is sort of right over here, you can't really see it. It's not a very big place. Serbo-Croatia, there's Hungary, there's Poland, and Serbia is in there somewhere. See, there's Italy, Spain, France, England, Germany, and all that. And Serbia is right in here. And lo and behold, guess what happened? There was a school shooting. Those don't really exist in Serbia. Not until yesterday. And obviously they got the idea from America. And there are factions inside Serbia who do not want Serbia to become a healthy, honest, common sense country. They want Serbia to sell out and turn into a communist Marxist hellhole. Which is surprising because Serbia used to be that way beforehand. But anyway, the global elites, they can't help themselves. And so there was a shooting, and a young lad shot a bunch of kids. And then, lo and behold, Serbia news headlines. We have to protect the people. We are going to pass immediate laws to take away all the guns from the Serbian population. We can't have this sort of reckless child killer violence going on in our country. And of course the Serbs don't have a way to protect themselves because they don't have the constitution that we have. So that's another example of the bad things happening. Let me keep going on. I'm just rattling through my list like I like to do. I have not watched the King Charles coronation because I was advised that it is a massive cult ritual. Also, King Charles is a Scorpio. And you might have noticed that there's a lot of protests against Prince Charles in the monarchy right now because a lot of people don't like the monarchy. They see it as a really ancient leftover regime about power and money control, which is what America escaped from 250 years ago. I'm personally okay with a monarchy in England, as long as it's ceremonial, because it's a wonderful thing, like a live museum of history. But King Charles sent a message through the media that he is staging part of the coronation as an event where the public will be given the opportunity to pledge their allegiance to the monarchy. As soon as I heard that, I realized that King Charles is setting himself up for a serious problem. So please expect that if you're British. We're seeing all sorts of economic scary stories about the United States. Okay, we already know that. I've talked about this for a very, very long time here. This is the global economic crisis happening right here. This is the axis of real money, axis of other people's money, and it is operating at its lowest, most unhealthy frequency right now. The global financial system as we know it, which is a massive, highly, highly successful fraud that's been going on most effectively since 1913, has reached a kind of a culmination point because every other country and central bank on earth has had to emulate the United States Federal Reserve banking system in order to survive. And so that sucked the whole of planet Earth into the business banking model of the United States. And it's coming unraveled because the fraud can't be extended anymore. It's like a perpetual Ponzi scheme that has reached the point of maximum expansion. Nobody can play the game anymore. It's all fiction. It's fiat currency. So it's falling apart. But of course, the folks who want to control it, they just lust for more power, money, and control. So Uncle Joe Biden is basically saying, absolutely not. We're not going to have any kind of control on the debt ceiling. We're going to spend, spend, spend. Burn, burn, burn. More money, more debt, more inflation, more poverty, more crisis. Well, guess what? It's all planned. That's part of their plan. The idea is to destroy and demolish hope, enterprise, freedom, prosperity, because it makes it so much easier for the elites to come in and take over control. The business model, let's say, that's being emulated right now is already very advanced here in China. They already have an advanced, completely Marxist, communist regime there, including their CBDC, central bank digital currency, which is being used as like a control system. And it's very, very effective. Basically, the Communist Party and the central bank China thing has absolute control over everybody's finances and all the transactions in China. You can't go anywhere or do anything without the CCP knowing it. So they control you. If you buy something or sell something or do something that they don't like, they will interfere with your money. It's very effective and very, very frightening. And that's what the elites over here are trying to do over here, so that they can make it happen all over the world. Even Klaus Schwab basically said the model to go forward is China. That's what we're going to do. And there's a lot of people around the world who are starting to wake up and realize this is very sick and evil, and we don't want to play. We don't want to play that game. But it's very, very hard to stop because we're just regular people. We don't have any control over the banking system. So anyway, it's very, very bad right now. And as predicted, we would see massive banking and global financial crises appearing across Earth right now. And that's exactly what's happening. If you track these things like I do, that's exactly what's happening. Essentially, the American economy is crumbling and imploding in a slow motion controlled demolition. Now, it's not just America going down, but it's happening all over the world. Again, that's part of the intention, but it's very strange to me to watch what's happening between these arch enemies, okay, China and America. They're trying to pretend that they're like, everything's fine, but it's not. It's finally coming out that this place here is the arch enemy of this place here. In order to get done what they want to do over here, they are using what they call unrestricted warfare. And the whole idea is to destroy this place here without even shooting one bullet. And they're doing a very good job, because this whole place here, we call it this piece of land, it's all chopped up and divided, and we call it America, is completely and utterly infected by the CCP. In the banking system, the corporate system, the media, business, entertainment, movies, colleges, universities, education, and their agenda is to completely pervert and subvert and invert the American Constitution, this thing that we have here. I've shown this to you many times. It's this thing here, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. It started with the Declaration of Independence, 4th of July, 1776, and then it really started to take some traction when the Constitution was finally signed and drafted in 1787 and 89 and all of that. Okay? And so, according to the Pluto cycle, we have just lived through one complete Pluto cycle. So we're seeing like the death of the Constitution, the death of the Declaration of Independence, the death of this thing that we call America. And it's a very naturally occurring phenomenon. This will die and this will be reborn. It's going to be a 20-year journey as we start the whole cycle again. And 250 years from now, well, I don't know what's going to happen, but the same thing is going to happen. There's going to be a massive power struggle as Pluto reaches 27.5 degrees Capricorn. I wonder if I'll be around then in 250 years. Anyway, so that's happening right now. You've probably seen lots of stories on the news and from whatever sources. Chinese police stations all over the country. There's enormous amounts of, let's say, Antifa sabotage and all these extreme Marxist communist states over here, and some of them over here, a few here and here. They've been completely, utterly possessed. And it's very tragic to watch as these beautiful, beautiful states crumble into these rather sick, tragic environments. Anyway, a lot of the phenomena that we're witnessing occurs in the financial markets, because money, or what we call money, it's actually a currency, is a unit. It's like a red blood cell. Each dollar is like a red blood cell, and it flows through the vessels, the blood vessels of the global financial system. And it's very, very sick. It's very, very unhealthy. It's very congested. It's very upside down, as you call it. We are struggling with astronomical infinite debt here that can never be reconciled, and it's a natural consequence of every fiat currency that has ever existed in the last 2,000, 3,000 years. So it's nothing unusual, but it's happening on a big scale right now in our lifetimes on a global scale. This has never ever happened before in human history, ever. We've had plenty of fiat currencies and multiple empires. There was the Egyptian Empire, the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire, the Ottoman Empire, the Spanish sort of empire, the French sort of empire, the Chinese kind of empire. The British Empire was incredibly successful and is what started all of this over here. And now we have essentially what is the American Empire, and all of them went through the very same process of creating a currency to represent real money, so that the governors and leaders and the owners of those societies had a way to control their people and exploit their people for the benefit of the elites. It's the same story today, but it's happening on a global scale that pivots around the United States dollar. And there's enough people over here, everywhere else, who said enough is enough is enough. Your fake currency is ruining our lives, because we all have to play your game. And so they have to participate in the Ponzi scheme to survive. But they're realizing it's doom for us and it's doom for you. So it's doom whichever way you go. So all these countries like Sri Lanka, Pakistan, parts of these countries over here in Africa, the Middle East, they're all crumbling. Brazil, Argentina, a lot of Central and South America. It's just mind-boggling to see the economies and their finances and their banking. Anyway, at the same time, a parallel world of money and peer-to-peer money and digital ledger technology and blockchains and what you could call real money is starting to emerge as a way to have a parallel life. So there's the world of fake money and here's the world of real money. And it's theoretically possible that we can migrate to a world of real money, because real money is the enemy of fake money. The fake money is desperate right now. They're playing their same old tricks to try and keep their game going, but they are at the point of implosion because you can't take it any further. It will keep going, but my personal belief is that the implosion is going to drag out over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. It sounds like a long time, but remember, it took a very long time. It took 10, 20 years to build up the fraud and the bubble that would inevitably collapse to where it is today. So the implosion will be, I think a 20-year implosion is quite realistic. America does have a solution, by the way. Oh, by the way, here, another thing I wanted to mention. You might have noticed that China has become extremely, let's say, belligerent, and they're trying to go all across the world with their Belt and Road initiatives, trying to convince the rest of the world that the America's going down, the dollar is useless. Come over here to the Chinese yuan and hang out with us, and we'll do everything with gold and oil and timber and all that good stuff, and let's forget about America. It's easier said than done, because China's economy is completely and utterly dependent on a healthy America. The problem is, a lot of global operations are pulling themselves out of the Chinese slave camp because they're realizing how toxic things are in this country. So we've had a good run for it for the last, I would say, 20 years, but even up to 40 years, taking advantage of the Chinese slave camp that allowed the elites in China to become extremely wealthy at the expense of hundreds of millions of slaves over here. And we have enjoyed, especially since like the 80s and 90s, lots and lots of material abundance based on the slave camp over here. So that's all going to change. That's all slowly going to disappear and go away. We don't have a slave camp over here officially. So it's very difficult to replicate the super cheap prices and have all that wonderful stuff from Lowe's and Home Depot and Bed Bath & Beyond and Target and Walmart and all those places that depend heavily on China for product. That's all coming unglued, you might have noticed. Anyway, the thing that's also happening in China is that their financial model, outside of the totalitarian, tyrannical CBDC system for personal banking, the banking for their nation is basically another Ponzi scheme modeled directly on the American Ponzi scheme. But it's much more toxic because it's a criminal enterprise over here. And what they've done, they've taken the American model and gone berserk, issuing massive amounts of debt and creating huge amounts of massive fraud in the corporate world, the real estate, property, mortgage world, bank loans, company loans, because you can't do any business or grow anything in China without bribery, corruption, and blackmail from the participants who want to grow. And it just causes damage to everybody else. So what's happening over here now, live, in real time, this country, which, you know, it's a beautiful place from what I can tell, but it's incredibly crowded and it's full of tragedy because there's 1.4 billion people here, and you take away 1 billion people, they just kind of like don't count, because they've got 400 million people remaining who are actually the participants of the real economy. So there's a lot of extreme poverty here, and their financial system is imploding. Now, you have to understand, Saturn is in Pisces right now for the next 2.5 years. And that is a point of critical mass for the Chinese financial system. It just so happens. So, for all their bluster and bravado and hostility and belligerence that they're showing to the rest of the world, their economy is imploding, literally imploding on the inside. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they continue to present their glossy, highly militaristic behavior to the rest of the world, while at the same time their whole country is imploding. Literally, real time. It's much worse there than it is over here. So that's going to be interesting. But here's the most important, here's what's almost kind of amusing. As you know, Uncle Joe is supposedly running this country. He's actually destroying the country, and that's his day job. He's been outed. It's all over the media and the news and the sources where I gather information. The Biden crime family is completely and utterly exposed. And the next stage in the story, of course, is like, well, what about accountability? How are we going to hold these criminals accountable? Because it's the worst crime, I would say, in American history. Because the whole Biden clan, along with their associates, the other sellouts, the Obamas, the Clintons, the Bushes, I don't think any of them will be held accountable, but the Bidens are right front and center, and there's enough raw data from all the whistleblowers coming out inside the FBI, the CIA, the DOJ, the DOD, FBI, all of that. There's enough coming out from good Americans to put all these Biden criminals in prison for high crimes and treason against America. Basically, they made millions by selling America to China. That's it. It's really, really simple. Bribery, extortion, crime, whatever it takes. And so we're at this situation right now where Biden's got another 2 years left on the clock to destroy America internally. And Biden is essentially working for Xi Jinping to destroy America internally so that China doesn't have to drop any nukes or bombs inside of America. Because China wants all our cows, all our pigs, all our chickens, all our land, all our water, all our gold, all our minerals, all our timber, all our fruits, all our vegetables. They don't want the people. They want to kill off the people with bugs and just keep all that stuff. And it's become very obvious if you watch this and learn from what I do. And of course, to get done what needs to get done for Biden and the Marxists, communists, traitors who are running this country into the ground, they are becoming very, very visible in their behavior, in their actions, and their decisions. And some people in America are starting to wake up and say, this is insane. This is absolutely ridiculous. And so, of course, for every action, there is a reaction. So we are seeing a growth in a movement towards, let's say, very conservative common sense behavior on the other side of the political financial spectrum. You already know where I stand on this. I've said a lot of things here tonight where, that could all get me shut down. But I'm kind of at a point where I almost don't care. I do care because my strikes for the last 3 months are going to expire in about, 10 days or so. And then I can go back to, you could call it like a more normal channel. The channel's already destroyed, but at least I can, monetize things. The thing is that it's almost like I almost don't want to go back anyway. So like, what does it matter? It's already ruined. It's already lost. Anyway, there's this, you've probably heard of Jerome Powell. All right. So he's the boss over there, the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Okay. And a lot of people around the world, the central banks and Wall Street, bow down to his every word. Oh, he's going to raise interest rates. Oh, he's going to lower interest rates. Oh, he's going to print more money. Oh, he's going to shut the printers down. Oh, okay, so we better do this, we better do that. It's all part of smoke and mirrors just to keep just a massive wall of confusion and delusion so that the evil agenda can be propagated incrementally across the United States. And their goal is to destroy the American economy in a way that can't be very obviously detected, in such a way that what they call demand destruction, so that we the people become more and more and more and more poor, which means less and less and less powerful, which makes it easier and easier and easier for them, the elites at the very top, to exert all their power and control and influence, so that they can get more power, money, and control. It's a very simple plan. And it's been working very well, but it's starting to come unraveled because it's so preposterous and so evil that people are starting to go, wait a minute, this is not cool. I'm one of those people. I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's very unhealthy, evil, and toxic. Anyway, Jerome Powell and Joe Biden and Janet Yellen, she's the treasurer for the United States, they have an amazing plan. I'm Janet Yellen. We don't have to worry. We always pay our debts. Okay? So, what we're going to do is we're going to mint. That means we're going to make it. We're going to make it up. Okay? We've already made $30 trillion in debt. You can go to the U.S. debt clock and see that, okay? That's just a website, so don't believe it. We have 200 trillion in unfunded liabilities. But don't worry about it. It's just a number on a screen. And we're going to erase it. We're going to use the balance eraser. So here's the plan. I've talked with Joe, and I've talked with Jerome, and I talked with the U.S. Mint. And what we're going to do is we're going to mint, create, stamp $1 trillion platinum coin. So there. Ha, 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 ha. And once we've made the first one, and we got it all polished and neat and cute and pretty, then we're going to make 30 more. 10, 20, 30 more. Little coins, like this big, made out of platinum. And on the front of the coin, it's going to say $1 trillion. So there. That's the problem solved. I am Janet Yellen, and I am the United States Treasurer. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, anyway, that's the plan. I doubt whether it'll work. It's doubtful whether it will happen because no one will believe it. And as you know, the first line in my book, money is what we believe it to be. And if she believes that she can convince 8 billion people on planet Earth that she can make 30 coins out of platinum and wipe out all the American debt, like that, I think a lot of people are going to say that's bull. That's BS. That's fraud. Well, guess what? That's what it is. But that's all they know how to do. Anyway, I just thought I would mention that. I got to check something over here. Let me go back to give me a second, folks. There's a lot of amazing things that have been happening leading up to this eclipse. One of them, of course, was the story of, you might have heard of this fellow, Tucker Carlson. He's quite famous in America. He's a very popular speaker. He's sort of on the conservative spectrum, but he allows for all points of view. He was, let's say, ordered to leave his seat over at the Fox network, and he's been trying to figure out what am I going to do now, and everyone else is trying to figure out. And of course, just like the Bud Light commercial with Dylan Mulvaney, the Fox ratings, which were very high, have now gone from here to here. Because people go to Fox to get to Tucker. People don't go to Tucker to get to Fox, and that's just the sad reality. But anyway, I just saw a little snippet today where, now, this is only just a snippet, and I can't find it right now, but I know I saw it on a very, very trustworthy source that I visit pretty much every day. And it looks like there's discussions going on for Tucker to become involved with the Trump 2024 campaign as a speaker. Very interesting. That might be very frightening to a lot of people. To me, it's actually it brings me a sense of hope and encouragement. I'm kind of thrilled by the idea. Of course, the communist, Marxist lefties are terrified of Tucker. They're absolutely terrified of him because he just talks about ordinary things in ordinary ways and points out things that are very, very obvious. Anyway, so I thought that was very interesting. I think I've really gone through my list of all the bits and pieces that I wanted to mention. By far the most disturbing, concerning thing, of course, is the global financial system, because that affects everybody. And we've talked about that. As your currency inflates, the value decreases and decreases. So it's like it's a direct correlation. The more money you print and the lower the interest rates, the higher the inflation and asset prices. And that's great for the people at the very, very, very top, because they can manipulate and exploit that system for higher asset prices. But it destroys everybody and everything below. And that's where we are right now. Anyway, I've kind of gone over that. I'm not really in a... Let me just check something. I want to... Just give me a second. I'm just going to check through some bits and pieces on the chat. Before I do anything else. Hold on a minute. Give me a second here. There's some kind of interference on my computer. I don't know if you're seeing anything on your side of it. I have to tell you, I received a couple of payments recently, but I haven't done the reading. So if it's okay with you, I will add that towards funds for Sunday evening. And we'll have a couple of readings on Sunday evening. I hope that's all right with you. Dear Necessary Truth. So I just wanted to wrap it up. I just wanted to share my views. I could get a lot more, let's say, feisty about this stuff, but even though I've demonetized this video and YouTube's kind of got me on a choke collar, I'm still functional and I might be a little bit outspoken. But I'm hoping the channel continues and we survive the 3 months of strikes and I can get back and be a little bit more lighthearted and a little more entertaining. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up now, and I hope to see you Sunday evening. Thank you, Necessary. I'll make a magic post-it note for you right now, and I got another one for Gregory lined up as well. So, thank you. Oh, gosh, I missed all this chat. Hold on. Oh, yeah, thank you. And I've got to be careful. Hello, Precious. My Precious, I tried to email you several times. I was trying to find out what's going on. How you cope? What? Oh. Hello, Joy Love. I didn't see you there. Oh yes. I know exactly what you mean, Joy Love. Yes. Oh yeah, the mark of the beast, all of that stuff. Oh my God, it's actually happening, folks. Yes. Yes. Oh my God, I missed all the chat. I got stuck here. Now it's opening up. We're still under Mercury retrograde. I'm sorry about that. Very glitchy, yes. Yeah, I haven't, Joy Love, I haven't looked at the canopy. I'm openly using the words like World War III because it's now, it's basically there. It's official. We are at war. The actual battlefield, the way I look at the actual battlefield for the war is the global FX, foreign exchange currency markets, because that's where all the brutal pain is being pounded out. The American dollar versus the yuan, the euro, the Swiss franc, the Japanese yen, and so on and so on. It is a fearsome battle, okay, to try and find some kind of stability. Okay. We're also seeing, of course, the other war parts, like with Ukraine and the belligerents in China. There's war all over the place right now, okay? Oh man, what's that? What's that? What? 42 fires? What's this? Evacuated. 42 fires are burning right now. 4 towns are evacuated. What? Firefighter and 6 homes, a police and a station, a hospital. From Entwistle to Maythorpe. What? Half of Alberta is burning? Why didn't I see that? That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sure I would have seen. I'm going to have to look that up. Oh, man. Is this one of these sabotage fires, or is it a forest fire? Is it arson? Are there, sabotage actors, or whatever they're called? Over here in America, we got this guy, George Soros, and he spends billions of dollars trying to sabotage the United States through the legal system, through the social media and the media, and so on and so on. You're going to be evacuated? 13,000 evacuated. Hello, Maria. I didn't see it. Where? Oh, hi, Maria. Also, now that we're here, let me just mention a couple things before we check out here. So, remember, Uranus is still in Taurus, okay? Right over here. Oh my God. Okay, Uranus is at roughly, let's have a look over here. Okay. It's wildfire. Okay, wildfires, okay. Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm sorry. It's so tragic. There's so many tragedies happening on the earth right now in real time. But again, what do you expect when you've got 8 billion people? Okay. Oh, ouch. Like, so, okay, this is a very incendiary type of alignment here. Remember, there's the sun in Taurus, about 14, 15 degrees, and there is Uranus at about 18 degrees. There's the opposition over here. So this is a highly combustible alignment. Sun conjoined Uranus tends to create an extremely high level of combustibility, okay? Uranus is represents the energy of instability, shock, accidents, catastrophes, of course, it's also about awakening. It's also about the shaking up for the waking up. Okay, think of it as shaking things up to wake things up, and so all across the very, very natural tectonic plates over here, all the other big ones that go through here and here and here, and the other plates that go all the way down here. Those are the boundaries for the global tectonic plates. And they are all going through massive convulsions right now, as you know. But for the last few years, remember, Uranus is on a long-term transit here through Taurus. So we predicted, as predicted, we would see extreme upheaval and volatility in Mother Earth, nature, on planet Earth. In other words, everything that we're seeing in the news, volcanoes, hurricanes, fires, earthquakes, drought, flooding, all these classic mass events of climate. And I'm not going to say climate change or global warming or anything, because I don't particularly believe in the climate cult. The climate is changing all the time. It goes up, it goes down. It gets hot, it gets cold. It gets hot, it gets cold. You just have to do a little bit of scientific research and you'll figure it out. Right now, things are getting a little warm. And with Uranus in Taurus at 18 degrees, combust the sun at about 15 degrees. That's very high levels of like shock and combustibility. Mercury is also retrograde in Taurus. And we just had the eclipse. Remember, I was talking about eclipses being evolutionary gateways, and there's no going back, okay? Just wait until May 16th. Oh, you know what? I'm glad I didn't shut down just now. I was going to try to ask somebody. I made this chart. Okay. I made this months ago, or I made it early in the year or end of last year. I can't remember. But we charted out these days, the Aries new moon eclipse and the 5th of May, Friday, the full moon eclipse. Very, very important. It's happening right now. And then Path Traveler mentions something about the 16th of May. And look what I have here. Okay. All right. So that's what? 10 days from now. The sun is going to be at 24 degrees Taurus. Uranus is at 19 degrees. Again, highly combustible. Mercury will be direct at 5.5 degrees. And it looks like there's a massive T-square that's going to be moving through this. Mars in Cancer is going to be at 27 degrees. Oh, I remember now. I was talking about combustible events, and I remember Path Traveler was talking about, please, TL, could you look around those dates? Yeah, sure, the unexpected, but there's a lot of extreme volatility happening at that time, okay? This opposition, Mars opposite Pluto, okay? Mars is going to be at 27 degrees Cancer, opposite Pluto at 29.9 degrees Capricorn, okay? Basically on the cusp. It's a fierce opposition. When you get Mars opposite Pluto, it's about huge amounts of pent-up, highly compressed energy that wants and seeks expression. Sometimes the only way that can happen is through violence. That's how it is. And Mars is going to be highly stressed, and it's going to be looking for a way to express itself. So in 10 days from now, as the eclipse, has kind of displayed, we might want to watch the global banking system. We might want to keep a very close eye on China over here around the 16th. We might want to keep a close eye on the Ukraine-Russia war over here on the 16th. And we're probably going to see a lot of combustibility as a lot of other countries reach a very kind of explosive kind of energy here. Path Traveler is saying it's the same degrees as the atomic bomb. Oh, that was probably part of the story that you were talking about. What was it, in 1945? Yeah. So yeah, let's pay attention to that. Let's hope we're still alive and around and we can actually do a show at that time. So yeah, we're at the 5th right now. We're going to have, let's see, the 7th. Hopefully we'll be around on the evening and we can do those mini readings. Okay. And then the 16th will be a week from next Tuesday. And then, of course, we're going to have I think it's going to be the Taurus new moon on the 19th. So, okay, the show is not over, people. There's a lot of combustibility here. There's a lot of combustibility building up here. Anyway, I don't want to scare people. There might be people watching this who've never seen this kind of stuff before, and they're absolutely, pooping their pants. But, again, what do you expect? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed hanging out here. I really appreciate you for all hanging out with me all these years and sharing your time and your energy, resources, being supportive and helpful. It's been a very, very weird, amazing, frightening, beautiful, sad journey for me personally. But we keep going, okay? All right, I'm just going to sign off and get out of here right now. I'll let you guys have a nice evening. Take care, everybody. Be loving. Be loved. It's a choice. You can do it.